Hiphop in your Smoel, in your Smoel, hiphop in your Smoel.
One of the subjects that you've already touched on is slavery. One of the things that you've said in that interview, I'm going to get back to that one again, is that you mentioned that if the Americans would embrace and accept that slavery happened not too long ago, what do you feel if they would do that? If they were to accept and embrace that, what do you feel would change that for the American population, or at least the Americans?
Well, I mean, I think it would set a tone for the world. But for us in the United States, I mean, that's the original sin of America, that we still, because, you know, the healing is a process that starts with acknowledging what's happened and happening. And if you, and until you start the healing process, the wounds are still opening. You know what I mean? So until, if you get a cut, until you know, acknowledge that it's a cut, clean it out, and then put it back together again, bind it, check on it, you know what I mean, take care of it and allow it to heal. If you just leave it wide open, it's getting infected, it's being opened up worse, it gets worse and worse and worse. And you can't say, until you start that healing process, you can't say that the problem is over. And we have not really, you know, there have been small things here and there. There have been small efforts here and there. The efforts were great, actually, but we still have not really, it's not part of the American psyche to really know and understand what happened, what's happened through the history of our country. And so that's a history that we don't pass down. And so we arrive in this situation and we look at each other based on our own reality. You know what I mean? We judge other people based on what our situation was. We think that they should be doing what we do because we assume that they had the same opportunities and privileges that we have. And that's not the truth. I mean, there's a reason why things are the way they are.
When we look at some of your lyrics, you often speak about the truth. How would you explain your truth in the way you write them?
That's a great question, thank you. I'm not talking about I'm not talking about the definitive truth. And it's tricky too, because there are a lot of, you know, by me identifying as being a religious person, you have to be really careful with stuff like that, because I think there are people who claim, there are individuals who claim to have the truth, the all-encompassing, I know everything that's important to know, and this is what it is. And that's not the way I'm presenting it. I'm telling my truth and the parts of the truth that I've been able to come in contact with, you know what I mean? But it's also a commitment on my part. The whole, you know, naming that middle album Undisputed Truth. And it's a commitment that I've made to music, you know what I mean? To stick to, I have a close allegiance to what's genuine and what's sincere. And I'll never, no matter what, present myself or present the reality in any other way than what I really see it. And sometimes that means telling truth that's not always nice, and you know, sometimes you have to tell people the truth about themselves out of love, you know what I mean? And I have come to believe that that's a big part of my job, that I've been taught some really special, important things, mainly selfless love of other people, and love for oppressed people, and love for the weakest amongst us. And I see a connection in all oppressed, powerless people, voiceless people. And when you love the weak and the powerless and the voiceless, to that point, you become a fanatic for justice. And that's a commitment that I have, that I can't just separate that from my music. I can't have the things that tear my heart up be true, and then have this voice and not use it for what I believe in. And I tell people the truth about myself, encouraging and try to show myself stretching and growing, and hopefully the music encourages people that really listen to do the same thing.
Barack Obama, when he became president, how did you feel about that? Did that change anything for you?
I think that he's an amazing symbol of the American people. As a group, that's not everybody, but we're not very well informed. Our schools don't teach us to think critically. Our news media is very, very biased and is very narrow in its focus, and they don't inform us. Their goal isn't informing us, their goal is entertaining us, you know. And so we don't, you know, our country is very wide and very broad, but it's not very deep, you know what I mean, in terms of our thinking. And so we work a lot in symbols. Symbols mean a lot. So the symbol that Barack Obama is immensely important. And I personally believe when I look at him and see the decisions he makes and the way he conducts himself under pressure, I believe that he is there because he wants to make a difference. I think that he cares about the people. I think that he cares about the future of politics in our country, and that he really wants to make a change. The reality is that there's a lot of really deep-seated, deep-rooted corruption on all levels of government in our country. And the majority of the politicians are owned by, and their decisions are made to lean towards the corporations and not towards the people. And so he has a very small area in which he can work. Today on stage, there's a band set up on stage. So the amount of stage that's left for me is this big. I'm gonna do my best to rock the shit tonight in my little stage of what's left. And I think that Barack Obama is in kind of a similar situation where I think that while he's here, he's trying to do as much as he can within the little bit of room that he has. But he's also trying to create a new climate for political exchange.
Well, thank you very much for your time. It's been very enlightening. Yeah, so, well, we're going to check your show next, and we're very much going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I'm gonna go in the water.
See you later.